You may know my name, but you do not know the legend. I protect the innocent.
We owe everything to him.
And in my brave and noble quest for justice, nothing will distract me. Oh.
Finally, cat lovers getting the hero they deserve. I mean, come on, let's look at it clearly now.
Really?
Yeah, maybe really.
This is a movie for Cyrus, huh?
This is a movie for Cyrus, but because Cyrus, you agree with me. Let's look at it now. You got Pepe Le Pew. Pepe Le Pew. I mean, he's a skunk, but technically he's a cat. But
you know, like a polecat.
Yeah. Let's get right down to it. He's a rapist. I mean,
now, technically he's a date rapist.
Well, he's an attempted rapist.
Well, that's true.
I saw all those cartoons, and I never really saw him rape anybody.
Yeah.
I don't like where this discussion is going in terms of, Cyrus, you love this stuff.
what's up? We ain't done yet. I mean,
Pepe Le Pew was all about pussy. Let's just put it that
well,
way.
he was. I mean, he ain't no different from many of us, except he was just a little more. It was
You
almost
love
like
cats as much as I do.
Yeah.
He
Which
like
is scary.
Just a little different, a little bit of a different way. Though.
Yeah, he liked to date rape, except he didn't like to put the pill in there. He liked a moving, he liked the struggle, the fight, But then you got
He always seemed like he took the pill.
yeah.
He was like, yeah. He always looked like he was about to fall over every time
like
he was
took
chasing after these girls.
Too much X.
Well, he's just French. That's all. That's where they get it from.
I guess.
Pull out their bone marrow.
I guess so. Good point right there. And then you got the heroic, somewhat cats like Thundercats, but they're all gay. I mean, we can all see it.
Are they?
Yeah, they are. Like, look at them.
I just thought they were mutants because they were practically people. They're more like buff furries.
Well, come on, mutants, gay cats, it's the same thing.
Some hate groups call gays mutants. That's, right? I mean,
But Puss in Boots is he's the one that's finally come up. He's got style. He's suave. I mean, this dude could fuck your human girlfriend if he wanted to.
he is the Panocha in boots.
Gato, Pinocho. What's Pinocho?
Panocha. What the hell?
That's Puss.
Oh, is that what that is?
Okay.
You just made that shit up.
Look
You
it
don't
up.
know Spanish.
You never heard Panocha?
He's a peyote in boots.
I'm not surprised you never heard of the Panocha.
You didn't know co-host was bi? Come on.
What? By dumbass as well.
By awesome.
He's a gato in zapatos.
But no, Cyrus, we say this about you because you do love cats. I mean,
I do.
You wore that keyboard cat T-shirt to death. That cat left that T-shirt you wore so much. You just had a keyboard, no cat on there.
Yeah, now it just has a little sign that says, out of lunch, we'll be back at, whenever.
That just said vacancy right there. Get another animal in this position. But no, I wish you could have seen this because as much as you love cats, and look, I love cats too. I love my Dr. Doom to death.
Yeah, you do.
But what
Titty kitty, as I like
Kitty
to call
kitty, as Leon loves this to call him, call her, whatever.
Him.
Whatever it is.
Your female cat a boy's name. You can't even get it straight.
You're right about that. No, but Puss in Boots was my favorite character once they introduced him in Shrek 2.
Shrek 2?
Yeah, Shrek.
Well, you know what? He breathed a lot of life into Shrek 2. Like, to me, Shrek 2 is one of those rare movies where I like the sequel better than the first movie.
Yeah, me too.
And a lot of it is because they introduced this character, Puss in Boots, who fit well, stole his scenes, and yet didn't really take over from everybody else. He just fit in like one of the boys.
Boy,
Yeah.
the Shrek movies kind of turned into the last gasp of actors we can't stand to see in live action films anymore. You got Eddie Murphy, Mike Myers, Antonio Banderas.
Yeah.
Sure, keep doing the Shrek movies. That's fine.
It's like a graveyard series for
Exactly.
decent actors at one point.
Yeah, it's like the Lazarus pit of actors when they go to be reborn, But Puss in Boots was my favorite. When I heard that they were going to do a spinoff with Puss in Boots, people are kind of groaning because, I mean, let's face it, after the Shrek 2, the Shrek movies, they went downhill major. Now, Shrek the Third was terrible. Shrek 4 wasn't awful, but it was still not up to par with the rest of the series.
Yeah,
the
exactly.
first two, at least.
Exactly.
And so I still have faith in Puss in Boots. I love this character so much, and I'm happy to say that if anything can breathe new life into this whole Shrek series, it's a spinoff like Puss in Boots. This thing brings it back to what the first Shrek was, and I would say even better because it doesn't rely on the gimmicks that the first Shrek did. Mainly, they don't have to rely on a bunch of pop culture jokes.
Well, now here's the thing. I won't knock the first two Shrek movies for doing that because that's what they were all about.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't say, oh, it relied on that because, hey, that's what Shrek was.
I didn't say I hated them.
But you trying to put them down saying this is better. But this is itself, it's a good thing in that it doesn't do that. It's like, hey, you know what? We came from Shrek, but we are not of Shrek.
Yeah.
Puss can stand on his own.
I didn't
his
even think
own
about
high
that.
heels.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that. I've only seen the first Shrek movie because I mean, the second and third and fourth, I kept hearing, at least for the third and fourth, that they were so bad. So I never bothered to try to revisit part two. But I mean, yeah, it is not like a Shrek movie at all, which is good because this thing needed its own fucking legs to stand on. Because I mean, going into this, I was like, okay, I hope this thing just hurries up and finishes so I can fucking leave because I just don't give a rat's ass about the whole Shrek series in general.
Well, you put those legs in some high heel boots, it's good again.
Hey, it worked for Prince.
Pussy always looks good in
Oh,
high
is
heel
this
boots.
now the animal formerly known as Puss in Boots?
This is the cat version of Prince in a way. It wore the same outfits.
Yeah, about the same height.
They both do that thing with their eyes when nobody likes their new album.
I know.
Oh, you're just so cute. I can't take
I
that
know.
at
It's that
you.
dearly beloved. There's something else. But this brings back Antonio Banderas as Puss in Boots, and it also brings in somebody that Antonio Banderas works well with, but really the casting here, I think, uses them the best as we've ever seen them. And it brings in Selma Hayek as another character called Kitty Softpaws. And that's another good thing about this movie is that there are a lot of voices in here, a lot of celebrity voices, but
Not that many, really.
Well,
it's only about 5.
Well, see, there's 5 is a lot for celebrity voices, but I guess you're right. For DreamWorks, that ain't nothing because DreamWorks will like just scoop celebrities out of the movies and make them do voices
Well,
for them.
it was like Spielberg was calling markers like nobody's business.
Oh, yeah,
for
but
10 years.
but
It was like,
even-
look, we ain't got a script, but we got so many famous people. You gotta.
Yeah,
come
but
see
for this
movie.
right here, though,
More
the
recently,
thing,
Kung Fu Panda 2, that was like The Player or something. There were so many celebrities.
Yeah.
Just, hey, it's me. Okay, I gotta go. I'm going.
yeah, but this right here doesn't feel like they're doing a lot of just casting for the sake of
No,
names. Right here,
exactly.
it seems like they're doing this because it seems like these people will work well together and they fit the characters in the film. And speaking of some of these characters, you have so the story here because this is a prequel to Puss in Boots. Before,
So there's no Shrek in here, even in a cameo.
No, not at all.
No, this right here.
No hinting to Shrek.
Okay.
We get to learn like the background of Puss in Boots. This is back when Puss in Boots before he was
The origin.
the hero known as Puss in Boots. He was known as the outlaw, the cad, Puss in Boots. He was always going in.
Harry Pussy.
Yeah.
I know I'm a child, but every time you say Puss in Boots, I just want to go. Sorry. Go
Okay,
ahead.
then you be the one retarded motherfucker.
Grow up, Cyrus.
We just call it Pib.
Yeah, no, I would not call it that.
Oh God.
Chill
man.
out, baby.
For this movie, yeah, Puss in Boots. He's out there stealing milk, having sex with people's cats, leaving the scene. He has wanted posters all around the village, and for this, a lot of the village here is again, it's not like Shrek. It's not like in a Magic Kingdom. A lot of it has a very like Mexican village
Well, it's
motif.
an old Spanish town.
Yeah.
Like Tortuga or somewhere
Yeah.
where pirates blow in ever so often. Now it's still in the fairy tale world because you get a few of those characters, but it's not overloaded with them.
It's no Rango. But
Yeah.
It's still very much.
There's hints of Rango, but it is not Rango.
Yeah, but anyway, so Puss, we learned that he grew up an orphan with another nursery rhyme character. Him and Humpty Dumpty were tight. And they always had this dream of finding the magic frijoles. You know what frijoles is, don't you, co-host?
That's beans, right?
There you go. Yes, the magic beans. I'm just testing y'all's authenticity. Make sure that Mexican chip we put in you works.
Yes, I love your
they
test.
had this dream of finding the magic beans and going to this castle in the sky and finding the goose that lays the golden eggs.
Goddamn religion.
I know. It's like right. It's about right next to Scientology, but except this is more real, right? but it as they grow up to be adults, Puss just gives up on the dream. He says, that it's a fable. Can you imagine a fable in a fable land? He's like, that's not real. But Humpty Dumpty, he turns into a fiend. He's like, he's got to find this, and he gets into trouble. Puss tries to go on the right path. They have something that happens in their past that affects both of them, where Humpty Dumpty is rightfully seen as somewhat of a villain, But Puss in Boots didn't do anything. But he's left to like remain an outlaw because of this one thing that Humpty Dumpty has done.
It's been a long time, brother. Maldito huevo. Humpty Alexander Dumpty. How dare you show your face to me? I know you're angry. You have every right. But it is good to see you, Puss. There's new boots? No! They are the same boots I wore when you betrayed me. But betrayed you? You left me cracked in pieces on a bridge, surrounded by soldiers. They wrote a song about it.
And it's really cool to see that they've gone this route of making it a prequel without having to rely on Shrek at all. And that's the strongest thing about this, is that it can stand on its own.
It's interesting because their relationship, there's a lot of elements of it. When they were young, they reminded me of Lex Luthor and Clark Kent.
Yeah,
that whole,
I told you. Yeah, we talked about that.
Talked about it came out.
You know what?
Like,
that was
the two of them are buddies, and then that like, hey man, we remember that thing we're gonna do. It's like, no, you got to give that up. We're going straight.
I'm done.
You're my arch enemy now.
Are you
Wait a
saying
minute.
like Humpty Dumpty used to have a full head of hair? Is that what you're saying?
He did.
Yeah, I lost
and all
it.
I thought was like, man,
Yeah.
Puss in Boots ripping off Smallville. I
know.
swear to God.
Everybody thinks he's an egg. He's just a head. Yeah. But
I won't say it's ripping off, but like Salma Hayek's character, she's sort of his Catwoman in a way, especially when they start their rivals.
I see her more as Lana, but that's me.
Well, okay, you got to get out of Smallville.
It
Come over to Batman where sane people were allegorizing.
She's the female chick in the middle. You got one guy trying to manipulate her, and you got another guy who's trying to woo her, and you know.
But what I will say, I'm not saying it's a ripoff, although it's a little too close to what was going on with them as to reminding me of the fourth Pirates movie, where you had, the guy who was a side character who broke off on his own to have his own movie, Jack Sparrow. And then there you have Penelope Cruz coming in as somebody who is his rival in skill, but then they kind of team up and there's a romantic relationship between them. And I was just like, because I had this feeling like, wow, I feel like I watched this movie already this year.
Really? I didn't, because I thought, I didn't really think that. I thought, if anything, this is, I think, much more inspired than something like Pirates of the Caribbean or any kind of sequel that I've seen. I think that this is more creative. I mean, if you're going to do a sequel or a prequel, this definitely feels more creative than some of the sequels that I've seen, in the past couple of years. And also, forgot to mention that Zach Galifianakis does the voice of Humpty Dumpty, who I thought was great. I thought it was Patton Oswalt at first.
It's weird because there's something about the two of them where it's almost like Paul Giamatti and Philip Seymour Hoffman, where it's like, wait, you can't have them in the same space. Things will blow up. You'll create a singularity. and the whole time I kept thinking it was Patton Oswalt too, but I was like, no, it's not quite. And I can't.
I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why, because he is so toned down from what he usually does. I mean, I was surprised when I saw his name in the credits, just because I was like, wow, it's like they must have sedated that motherfucker while they were doing this film. Because it could have been anyone besides Zach Galifianakis. But then again, the chemistry between them really worked, more so than I think any Zach Galifianakis film that he's done with anybody else. It was working here, but that's the good thing about it. You're not distracted by him by the writers writing him just being himself,
or as a man child, like he usually is.
which he usually is. And that works to the benefit. And plus, the other thing is, besides the story feeling somewhat fresh, is because you don't have to see a Shrek movie to understand what these people are talking about when they're referring to other characters. It is its own solo thing, but just the look of it, I was really impressed. Looking at this, thinking, wow, this could have been made by Pixar, especially during the more incredible moments during the film where I thought they actually took advantage of the CG, the 3D CG for once, to where the fantasy scenes were just awe-inspiring. I was like, wow.
Didn't you feel like in this one, the human characters actually look better modeled now? Because in Shrek I don't know, man. They were doing that zombie thing. They just looked that great to me. In this one, I think that the technology has advanced enough to where everything looks so much better, but especially the human characters. And we watched this on IMAX 3D.
Well, the IMAX-ish.
Okay, you hated IMAX. You're talking shit about it. Coles and I was sitting up there, and we were just like, wow. We in fact, being that it's smaller IMAX, we felt